You're watching the Bethel College Football Show.
I say, brother, you stay hood! Brother, hood, brother, hood, brother, hood!
Sears is going to fake the pitch to Juarez. DJ Sears in for the touchdown.
Hello and welcome to the Thresher Football Show for episode 2 of season 3. I'm Dan Page, alongside head football coach of the Threshers, A.B. Stokes. The Threshers getting set for their week 1 matchup against the Mcpherson College Bulldogs. 6 p.m. kick from Thresher Stadium. You can watch it on the KCAC Network and the KCAC Network app or kcacnetwork.com. I'll have the play-by-play coverage a little ahead of 6 o'clock for kickoff between the Threshers and the Bulldogs. And the Threshers got some scrimmage in over the last weekend, and they were able to see some good things and some things to work on. But overall, Coach, just coming into week 1, what's the feeling like?
I mean, we just feel like just another day to prepare and get better. I mean, it kind of doesn't change throughout the season. You just feel like every day you wake up, it's an opportunity to prepare and get better, and that's just where we're at. We're excited that we get to play a game this upcoming Saturday, and we look forward to seeing if the things that we worked on have gotten better, and then also to see what else we need to improve on to continue to progress throughout this season.
Absolutely. The Threshers, number 23 in the preseason NAIA coaches poll, and looking to have a great season after back-to-back defending champions. Yeah, I mean, the first 2 years ago it was Avila and Bethel. Last year it was a 3-way between Southwestern, Kansas Wesleyan, and Bethel. So, I think everybody's looking to win it outright this year as far as that goes. But it should be well-anticipated week of KCAC football. Everybody should be in action, so some really good games across the landscape of the KCAC. So, well, Coach, you coming in, I mean, your guys are almost a full month in to camp, the season, practice, everything. Mm-hmm. What's the status? How would you gauge where the team is right now?
Well, I'd say we're right on course as where I would expect us to be. With learning some new things, getting ready to go into week 1. I always say that you're not gonna achieve your season goal in week 1. You can progress to it, but you're not going to achieve it. And I think everybody is similar in the same boat when you're going into a football season. Is there are always going to be things that you need to work on. But I like where we are because we've got a group of resilient young men and coaches. And honestly, I think even if things were going great, we'd all be looking for things to work on because that's just in our nature. We don't want to settle. We want to always find things that we can get better about.
Absolutely. Well, for a lot of the players, they come back in, they see the same faces, they come back to the same location, they go to the same locker, they go to, some of them where they live is a little bit different. The buildings that they've been for classes, same cafeteria and everything. But there's just a little bit of things that are different, and I'm sure practice is quite a bit different. And it's so easy for players to get in the routine of things.
Yes.
But now it's like they've been taking 101. Now they're in the 400 and 500 level football classes at Bethel College.
Well, yeah, and I'd say only because what they've done, they've known for the last 3-4 years, depending on how long they've been playing, and now learning something different. There's always going to be a curve, and you gotta get into that playbook. You gotta study more than you probably did. But these guys are excited. They're excited. It's fun, and I know this, man. It doesn't matter what we do, what we run. We've got a group of guys who they're going to play hard. They're going to play really, really hard because they care about each other and they care about this program. So, yeah, it's a little bit of a learning curve, and it is, probably a little bit more studying going on. But at the end of the day, these guys, they just want to play to the best of their abilities, and they're gonna give it their all.
Definitely being pushed here early on, and I know that you have them in check daily, taking a pulse of the program, and obviously that's a part of head coach's duties as far as college football goes. Well, the Threshers take on Mcpherson College in their Week 1 matchup. You got some competition here recently, Coach, and it was really eye-opening for you to go against a squad different from you guys as far as discipline and making sure that you're doing the things right and not shooting yourself in the foot. Mm-hmm. I'm sure some people are interested to see, what steps have been taken since then to make sure that doesn't happen once again.
Yeah, absolutely, Dan. So I'd start with we had a lot of penalties on certain things that we were doing, and that comes with shoring up the technique of things, because the majority of the penalties that we got a couple of unsportsmanlike, but one was like throwing the ball down or something like that, which it's not okay. It's things that have been addressed, and I'm sure there'll be less this week. But as far as the technicalities of like holdings or blocking the backs or things like that, it's all about the technique of how you do things. So schematically, our guys they know where they need to be and who they need to block or where they need to run or where they need to fit, all of these things. But now it's about shoring up the technique of it, and that kind of takes care of the penalties when you're doing things the right way. Whereas schematically, if I get to the right spot, but then the guy beat me, I'm probably going to be, more at liberty to reach out and grab him or hold him or block somebody in the back or something like that. So,
well, no question you're going to get tested, with a different scheme and things, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Like, when you have linemen that have played in one system and then translating to another, there's always going to be teams in this conference that are going to test their ability to adapt. And I think it was a good lesson recently with the competition the team had. And, it's kind of interesting. We talk about, some of the things that you take away from that and that need to be improved, but there was also some good things that happened.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yes, sir. I said I was going to stop saying absolutely, but yes, Dan, that is correct. So that's correct. But there were positives. There were positives. I thought that on both sides and in all phases of the game, I thought special teams played relatively well. We punted a couple of times. We attempted some field goals. We kicked off quite a bit, and we returned. So we got to see a good amount of special teams, and I thought that on all of those we pretty much held it together and didn't feel too threatened on some of the kicks to get blocked or any of the returns to get taken back or anything like that. So I was very pleased with that. Obviously, defensively, our guys were flying around. There's still some schematic things and technical things to clean up, and those guys, they know that by no way, shape, or form do they think that they've arrived or there's nothing to work on, because we know, although we were able to do a good job holding the team in check, we know that there's a lot to work on. And but I was pleased with how they flew around to the football and instruct people and tackled. I was pleased with that. And then offensively, I was very pleased with. I mean, for the most part, our guys, they knew what they were doing, and they, when our tempo got going, you could really see what it looks like, because that's the name of the game. It's no secret. We want to go fast, and just like in some systems, the tags that you use and how you fit up perimeters and this and that can help you win games. The secret to our success is no secret. It's we want to go fast. We don't want to give defenses time to set up, and that'll correct a lot of things if we can catch people off guard.
And definitely a different pace, it seems like. There's been there was some talk amongst some of the fans that I've spoken with, and it's like, got to get used to a different style of football, versus, the shorter games and running the clock, and maybe we'll see some more of the clock stopping and longer kind of action.
I hope not.
Yeah, I mean,
Man.
it just kind of makes things, kind of taxing, but a little bit on everybody there. Obviously, heat, when that does play a factor as well.
Yes.
So, but yeah, no, that was just some of the chatter that I got to hear from some fans, and it was kind of interesting to, it's always the same, kind of people that I kind of talk to, kind of get a gauge from everybody on a game day just to see how everybody's feeling, that sort of thing. So, well, the Threshers officially start conference play against the Mcpherson College Bulldogs. The Threshers have won, I believe, 4 straight football games against the Bulldogs, the last 2 years on the road, and then the first 2 were at home. And so, there may be some remnants from the Bulldog program that have remembered that over the years. And from what I saw looking at their roster, it seemed like quite a few redshirts, quite a few freshmen and sophomores. We'll get to more of them. I'll talk about Mcpherson later in the show. But, just going into the game, there's so many things that people are excited for. Obviously, conference play officially starting, taking things very seriously at the same time. So it'll be interesting to see what the Threshers and the Bulldogs do. So far this game week, Coach, practice, obviously you guys look at specific things that you need to do well in the game, but how do you feel practice has gone specifically this week?
I think practice has been it's been going uphill. It seems like on Tuesdays we're trying to get things in, and it's a little bit slower. I just don't like slowness. The slow pace. I like things to get going and get done. And so Wednesday was a little bit better. Today a little bit better. So it's been progressing and going uphill. But again, I think for week 1, I feel as if we're probably right there on par with week 1, and we want to try to make week 1 feel like week 3 for us, or week 3 feel like week 7. And I shared that with our guys today, because that's what it's going to take. This is year 1, but by the end of this, we want it to feel as if we've played 3 seasons almost. You know what I mean? So, and that starts by taking steps within the weeks. And this week, I feel as if we got better, but there's definitely more to give. And I'm excited to just see how much our guys can give throughout the weeks.
Absolutely. We were talking earlier this week, the word of the week being focus. Specifically, what do you feel the team needs to focus on doing, or why specifically that term?
Well, it boiled down to exactly what you said earlier about the penalties. Like, what can we do to shore up some of those penalties? It boils down to, focus. Even with, an unsportsmanlike, even though you're celebrating, you still have to understand within the game, like, okay, I can't throw this football down or whatever it may be. And I don't mean to pick on. Shout out to Mario Quintero. I didn't mean to point you out like that, but you spent that ball. It's all good. It's all good. But yeah, just focusing and shoring those things up. Like, focus. Like, do focus on your job. Focus on your energy. Focus on your effort from the sideline to the guys on the field, to the coaches. And we just wanted a level of focus that we feel will pay dividends come Saturday. And we have seen a higher level of focus this week compared to last, and it's been a good thing. And I just know if we come out ready to go on Saturday, it definitely will show.
Well, I know for sure if it's not focused this week, it'll definitely be the next week, Coach. Just a little bit of foreshadowing there. But we're going to take a time out here on the Thresher Football Show. Hey, during this break, check out, we talked to one of the Thresher football players this week, and you'll know who it is once we come back here on the Thresher Football Show.
Thresher fans, get ready for the upcoming school year by becoming a member of the Bethel Booster Club. Your membership impacts all athletic programs by paying for experiences last year, such as the Thresher's Award Show, postseason experiences and postseason tickets, the Hall of Fame banquet, enhanced live streaming equipment, new banners in Thresher Gym, equipment for the Gearing Hall weight room, windscreens at Ward Tennis Center, and Thresher Stadium. Be a part of Thresher Athletics history and a booster club that is living out the Bethel College athletics mission by creating life-changing experiences for our student athletes through 4 levels of membership plus parent and young alumni specials. Athletics is an integral part of the Bethel College experience, and thanks to your support, we look forward to growing our success for the future. Visit BethelThreshers.com/booster club to become a member today.
We're kicking off another year here at Bethel College, and we need your help in making this another successful season. Thanks to your generosity in the spring, we were able to purchase championship rings and practice jerseys for our players, giving them a big-time experience. Since then, we've added several new faces to the program, and we couldn't be more excited to get to work molding a group of upstanding young men. All summer long, our guys have been getting after it in the weight room, and since August 5th, we've been hard at work preparing to put a product on the field that honors the tradition of Bethel College football. With your help, we're ready to make this another great year. Thanks for your generosity, and roll on.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, my name's Ethan Entz, center on the O-line here at Bethel. Originally from Newton, Kansas, a real far away. So I actually made the decision to come to Bethel just because I'm a hometown guy, not planning on playing football. And then Coach Harrison at the time gave me a chance, and I have meshed right in with the team. It's been real great. And yeah, I haven't looked back since. I've made a really awesome decision. Growing up, my parents came here, and ever since they've been here, growing up here, Bethel wasn't the place to come to play football. But finding out about what they had been doing before I came in here, and then now, it's been real amazing to see the culture and just the tradition that Bethel football is now. Four other guys were all starters last year, so coming in that group, it's a little intimidating because they're a really good group of guys. But they've welcomed me with open arms and really helped me out, especially Cole and Keegan on my guards. They've really helped me out a lot.
Welcome back to the Thresher Football Show. Dan Page alongside head coach A.B. Stokes, Thresher football program getting set for week 1 against Mcpherson College Bulldogs. Mcpherson playing their first game of the season. And in week 0, there was a few games in action. Obviously, Friends was at Oklahoma Panhandle State and was down 14-0, came back, scored 31 unanswered points to win 31-14 down in the Sooner State. And then St. Mary falls on the road, and then Tabor plays in a really weird kind of game if you look at the stats and the scores and everything like that, and they pull off a victory on the road. And so just a little bit of taste of the KCAC football coming in to week 1. The Threshers and the Mcpherson College Bulldogs kick at 6 p.m. from Thresher Stadium. Watch at kcacnetwork.com or the KCAC Network app. Or if you have Apple TV, Roku, Amazon Fire Stick, you can get the KCAC Network app on there and just watch on your TV just like you would ABC or all the other networks that have college football, because everybody's going to be playing this week around the country. It's an exciting weekend for college football. Threshers and Mcpherson play at 6 p.m. Other games of note in the conference, Kansas Wesleyan, who is number 12 in the country to start the season in the NAIA ranks, welcomes in Friends University for that football game, and then Southwestern takes on Ottawa. So a couple week 1 matchups for the ranked teams in the conference. The Threshers come into week 1 ranked number 23 from the preseason polls. The new poll will come out September 12th if you're interested in that kind of thing. But getting over to the football side of things, Coach, Mcpherson coming to town. We talked about it a little bit in the first half of the show. The Bulldogs over the last few years just kind of come up short in sometimes. Last year was a 24-0 win on a Thursday night, and a lot of storm situation, several lightning delays in there. And then the year before that, Bethel wins pretty handedly at Mcpherson, and then a few years before that, you guys just were on the good side of things, and you finally get them back here at Thresher Stadium, and everybody is anticipating this game on both sides of things. It's a fresh start for the season for everybody.
Yes, it is.
And it's an opportunity to, make the most of it. You see it season in and season out. Everybody comes in with this on-fire attitude. It's just who yields that first is kind of interesting to watch.
Absolutely. And it's just one of those things, like you said, who yields it first. That's why we want to try to do our best to, push these guys. So it's like, hey, we just want to keep playing. I tell them all the time that great teams, they don't want to finish. They want to keep playing. It's like if it's 0-0 in the fourth quarter, we should be, excited because it's like, hey, this thing's going down to the wire. We get to keep playing. We get to keep playing, and so we definitely want to be the team that just keeps playing regardless of what it looks like, up, down, tied. We just want to play, and that's what we've been harping to our guys, and that's why they're ready to start this season.
Absolutely. The Threshers and the Bulldogs, 6 p.m. kick from Thresher Stadium. Again, you can watch that on the KCAC Network.com website as well. So, and if you can't make it, or if you don't plan to watch online, you're coming to Thresher Stadium, we're excited that you're going to be going to the game, and hopefully you're listening to this on the way there. So there you go. So there's a lot of people like to tailgate. There's a few people from Sedgwick that they have their spot right by the entrance, and I keep an eye on that. They know who they are. So there you go. So, but Mcpherson, Coach, we talked a little bit earlier in the week. Do you feel like you have some more time spent kind of looking over them?
Oh yeah, I mean McPherson's they're a good football team, and this is what you can't take for granted. Coach Fiskus, he's been there going into his 4th season, I believe. They've got some talented kids who've come back, particularly on offense. They have a running back who's really, really good. I know he didn't play against Bethel last year, but he was over 1,000 yards all-purpose last season, and I think 9 games. So he's good with the ball in his hand, both in and out of the backfield. I want to say he went for over 100 rushing and over 100 receiving against Sterling last year. So he's a really, really good back. And then defensively, they've got a couple of new guys. They bring up some guys back, but they got some new guys who I've scouted them a little bit on some from their previous schools, and they're really, really good. They're talented kids. You got a cornerback, number 27, who we believe is really good. And then they've got a transfer linebacker from a junior college in Pennsylvania, number 9. He has a high motor, and he likes to fly around and make plays. So it's definitely some guys that we need to be aware of, and we will not take Mcpherson lightly at all.
Absolutely. Mcpherson and the Threshers playing week 1. In the past, Mcpherson has liked to throw the ball, because the Thresher defense the last couple of years has kind of shut down the ground game for Mcpherson. So just kind of making them throw the ball quite a bit. They can go in with a spread look. They like to throw out to the flat. They like to throw those screens out there as well to kind of test you at the edge. It's kind of interesting. I know a lot of what you look at sometimes is what is the latest we've seen from a team, and it's so tough to do when it's the first game of the year. Yeah,
it's no. I mean, you it's basically a guess, and that's what we tell our guys. Like, hey, this is what they did last year. This is how they played. Certain formations last year. This is what they ran defensively last year, and it's just one of those things that, like you said, until you see it. It's all going to be a mystery, and I know we got a chance to scrimmage this past week, and I know they've probably seen that, but still, it's a new week. It's a new week for us, and it is going to be our first game that we're going into the season to play as well. So I think it's a guessing game, and like you said, everybody's going to come in excited. Everybody's going to come in ready to go. Both teams, and I think it's going to be who's going to yield first, and our guys need to have that attitude that not us. You know what I mean? It's not us. We're gonna keep playing. So.
It's kind of interesting. A couple years ago, Bethel opened the season against Avila at home, and that was the introduction of an entire different defense. And you just kind of think of going into Week 1 games. Mm-hmm. Do they have something up their sleeve that they're gonna change and do? And it's so how tough is it? You've coached football for a while now. Mm-hmm. College as an assistant, and then at the high school level as a head coach. But how difficult is it to kind of adapt on the fly there with that situation?
Well, one thing that I took away from the flex bone, if I might add, is practice against every front, practice against everything. But because we're so new with this scheme, we just can't. We don't have time to practice everything. We have to pick a couple of fronts that we think they're going to be in and go after it. So to answer your question, it is extremely tough if you haven't practiced against a front, because it's kind of like the luck of the draw. You just got to kind of get lucky and find your creases and your seam. Football is a game of geometry. It's about angles and fits. Right? And if guys don't know what angle they need to take to certain people and how it fits and where the fits are, if the backs don't know where the fits are, the quarterback, and it can get extremely messy, and then you better have somebody who's fast and can just bounce that thing to the outside and go make a play. You know what I mean? But so it's really hard if you don't have somewhat of an idea as to what someone wants to do with you. That's why it's best to just be prepared. We try to give our guys some of the toughest looks that we can, some of the toughest blitzes that we've seen them. We want to draw up the worst blitzes that we've seen that we think will get fits and show it over and over again. That way, if they don't play us that way, at least it may be a little slower and a little easier to pick up.
Absolutely. One thing that's for sure, the ground game is definitely still present in the Thresher offense. You have so many weapons in that facet of the game, and so many different moving pieces, even some that people haven't even seen yet.
That's true.
That they may see this week.
Yeah.
But, it's such a good problem to have, because when you don't have Chance, you have KJ. When you don't have KJ, you have guys like Scott Grider. When you don't have Scott Grider, you have Cash. Those guys, they're four different guys the way they run the football. And then, DJ is definitely capable of running. Then you got some slots that are capable of running the football as well. So it's just, it's so much talent on that side of the football, and it's interesting to see, you're able to not necessarily miss a beat or get tired and things like that. And that's so crucial in football.
Yes, sir. And that's what it is. It's kind of like death by 1,000 cuts. We want to be able to throw a lot of guys at you as fast as we can. But that's no different. I'm sure every team that has depth wants to try to utilize it and get different guys with the balls in their hand. Dare I say, gone are the days where backs have 30 carries a game, 40 carries a game. You know what I mean? Gone are those days, because even if you do primarily give it to the one certain position, you're going to have 2, 3, 4 guys that you want to get in and change the pace of the game. It's a lot different for defenses trying to tackle Chance as opposed to Scott or KJ or Cash or whoever. You know what I mean? Every one of the backs, they have their own unique style of running, and it changes up things for defenders. And so that's why, it's important. We're going to continue to use those guys. I'm just grateful that they're such a special group that love one another, and they're unselfish. The running back room is one of the probably one of the most selfless groups on the team, and that's speaking volumes of them, because we have a great team. But they all cheer for one another. They don't care who get the glory. They don't care who gets the scores or the stats. They just want to, do their job when they're in, and hopefully it help us win football games.
Definitely a tough crew as well. Speaking of some toughness on the defensive side, obviously the personnel has some depth there as well because of the previous systems and getting some experience and just rotating guys. Mm-hmm. It was really encouraging in your recent competition to see the defensive line isn't missing a beat seemingly this season.
Yes, sir. Coach Avery Hawkins, he does a great job with those guys, and I'm just happy to see the work that they're putting in, and I know they're going to continue to work throughout this season because that was one of the positions that we challenged. We challenged them this past spring and this off season, and even going into the fall, because there was kind of a question mark hanging over it, like, okay, who's going to step up on the defensive line, because you were losing two anchors in Mark Lanier and Avery. You're losing two anchors of the defensive line who played a lot of football and won a lot of games. So it's just like, okay, who's going to step up and be the new leaders of the defensive line? And you got some guys emerging, and they're going to continue to do it. Ernest Ferrier and Doug Grider, obviously Jairo Castillo, and then John Henson, who's been around forever, who is kind of like a leader of that group. And then you've got some other guys who we're waiting on a couple of things. We've got a couple of other guys who are gonna step up, and some young guys who aren't afraid to get in the mix either. And it all works because of the way they practice and the way Coach Avery coaches those guys up. And man, I just love to watch, all those guys like him and Cam Harrison and Dominique Copeland, all these guys who played at Bethel, who are now helping out in some capacity, just give back to these guys and love them up and coach them up. It's really special to see, and you're seeing it in practice and in the scrimmage that we had. You're able to see these guys are getting better, and it's because they have coaches who care.
No question at all. Yeah, what I'm interested to kind of see is when those guys, their game experience, once you get into game action, they can see things based on their recent playing experience, or they know tendencies of opponents that they even faced last year, mm-hmm. that they know, okay, this works against this guy, kind of a thing. And one thing or another, I'm not saying it's exactly like that, but that knowledge is so relevant and so modern and crucial to being thoroughly prepared for the team that you're going to play. So
absolutely, there's that word again. Yes, Dan, that's correct. That is correct. You're on point with that, Dan. But you talk about experience. One thing about experience, I read a quote on experience. It says the bad thing about experience is it gives the test before it gives you the answers, right? And so these guys have experience. Some of these guys, they've gotten their experience, so they've had the test already, mm-hmm. and now they're learning the answers because of their experience, right? And so with that being said, they will continue to get better and better with off the experience that they had and that the experience that they will get. So I'm very encouraged to watch their growth this season.
Absolutely. A lot of iron being sharpened there, so to speak. And special teams, obviously, Logan DeMond comes back. His freshman year, he was Special Teams Player of the Year in the conference. Braden Francis punting the football. You still have Ryan Gregg snapping to Braden Francis and Logan kicking it. I mean, those guys, mm-hmm. I watched them in pregame before, and they just stick close to each other. They are a unit together.
They really are. And I'm excited to see Logan this senior year. It's his senior year. This is it. He's going to graduate, and he's put in a lot of work this past off season and summer with lifting and kicking. I mean, I remember the track was tore up. We couldn't get out onto the field, and he's calling me and Coach Grider trying to see if we can get him a connection to get on the Newton's field. And it was, we were waiting to get an answer. He's like, well, Coach, if I don't hear something by 6 o'clock, I'm just going to jump the fence. I'm like, no, don't jump the fence. Don't jump the fence. But he's super dedicated to his craft and this program, and I just hope he has the best season he's ever had.
No question. I had to mention those guys, but obviously Trey Palmer, the skilled player that he is, the recent preseason conference honors, I recognize him as both as a defensive back and a returner, and then the others as well that, guys like Ryan Junkermeyer, Keegan Martin, Chance Scurry, and Josh Siebold,
Yes, sir.
they were all in that conversation as well. But, I'm actually, as long as, we have opportunities of games I'm excited to see what Trey does in his senior year because he's done something every year
Yes,
that
he
has been
has.
spectacular to watch. And, there's always going to, I love to see those highlight moments from him because you don't know when it's going to happen. And when it does, it's just, there's so much positive emotion that floods you.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. All those guys, Trey and Ryan Junkermeyer, Keegan, Siebold, Josh Siebold, and who was the third? Chance Scurry,
Yeah.
the fifth one. Yeah, all those guys. You mention them and they have the accolades and things like that, but they're good people and they're great leaders. Like people follow them and they're gonna hold you accountable. They're not gonna allow you to mess up, and that's what's encouraging and promising about this upcoming year is that we have genuine leaders who are good people who care about this program and care about the guys in it, and they're going to hold them accountable. They're going to hold them accountable, and it's just great to see, them getting all their flowers and their awards and accolades and things like that because they do. They work hard, and they deserve it, and that's why I promise you, myself and our coaching staff, with the trainers included, this administration, we're going to work really, really hard to ensure that they have a season that they're proud of.
You're exactly right, Coach. Well, that's going to do it for our show this week. Hopefully you enjoyed the show and appreciate all the positive feedback that we get because this show is for you, the viewer, whether you're a parent or anybody connected to the program, an alum, anybody, a student at Bethel College even. We appreciate you watching each and every week. This is for you. Coach Stokes and I have just really, we want to bring some entertainment value to the fan base and also excitement more
Yes,
than
sir.
anything because, this is a special time. Football is such a special game and so many people invest. I mean, when you have over 100+ players and then their parents come and
Yes.
then their friends come and then just people that maybe not even have a connection come to the games, it's always awesome to see. So the Threshers and the Mcpherson College Bulldogs, 6 p.m. kick from Thresher Stadium. You can watch it at KCAC Network, kcacnetwork.com, or the KCAC Network app, either on your smartphone device, smart TV, Roku, Amazon Fire Stick. I hope I didn't miss anything there, but there's definitely so many ways you can watch it. So for Coach A.B. Stokes, that's going to wrap up our show this week. I'm Dan Page. Roll on.
Roll on.